I'm not sure if it's accurate, so people might look at that and take it to, based off of the records that we have, there could definitely be some questions on the timing of that.
Right.
For sure, but I will just say, I can't verify the timestamp there, but I know for a fact that after they left the corner club, they walked to the grub truck. It's about an 8-minute walk, so we need to factor that in. And then they ordered food. They were at the grub truck for about 10 minutes, and they didn't leave the grub truck until the Uber driver had arrived at 1:49.
And those
So
cameras
if you
would
work
suggest,
backwards, that timestamp doesn't match up.
that would suggest.
I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's completely false or anything, or how false it is, I don't know. But I'm saying from the timeline that I know for a fact, working it backwards doesn't match that timestamp.
Gotcha.
If it's accurate, so people might look at that and take it to, based off of the records that we have, there could definitely be some questions on the timing of that.
Right.
For sure, but I will just say, I can't verify the timestamp there, but I know for a fact that after they left the corner club, they walked to the grub truck. It's about an 8-minute walk, so we need to factor that in. And then they ordered food. They were at the grub truck for about 10 minutes, and they didn't leave the grub truck until the Uber driver had arrived at 1:49.
And those
So
cameras
if you
would
work
suggest,
backwards, that timestamp doesn't match up.
that would suggest.
I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's completely false or anything, or how false it is, I don't know. But I'm saying from the timeline that I know for a fact, working it backwards doesn't match that timestamp.
Gotcha.
Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. This is for education purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho 4. Alivira Katie's sister says clearly that the timeline doesn't match. She said if you work it from backwards, there's something missing. Definitely. I totally agree with her. Because if we go according to the previous timeline, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., that will make sense. Actually, from 2:30 right up to 3:16, when you see the last 4 figures running at 3:12, would definitely make sense. But if you work it backwards from 4:20 a.m., the timeline that they changed later, then that means everything goes wrong. That means Kaylee and Maddie were in the grab truck much earlier, at the corner club much earlier, so it wouldn't make sense. So why was the timelines change? Is my question. Let's try and make sense out of this nonsense. Alivira did actually a fantastic job because she found out the timeline that her sister Kaylee was at the grub truck and that they left and reached home at 1:56 a.m. But the police insisted it was 1:45. That's 9 minutes difference. They could have been unalived within the 9 minutes. So why was the timelines changed? Was it because the police got information from people who are allegedly the suspects, started flooding them with information, calling the tip line, and changing the timeline? Could that be possible?
For every excuse for him to pick the phone up.
Yes.
To read those texts. Like,
She
I will
wanted
leave
him to
tonight
know.
with the dog if you don't pick up. That type of thing.
Oh, so yeah. And they, even when they broke up, they still communicated.
Yes,
it
every
sounds
day,
like
all the
it's
time.
like
The whole time she was
Now,
it
gone.
was just
Marcy,
it was just a
They were around him.
Yeah.
They
Not
were-
this Jackson one over here in the corner. No, she was around her ex, you know, and to me, that's comfort level, that's body language, this is the person that I'm comfortable in.
Talked to him about the conversation that night. We've talked to the other guy about the conversation that went on that night, and they both, they were just like, hey, what's been up, boy? How you been doing? What's been going on? And she was trying to talk to me to go into another bar down the street or something like that. And he's like, I worked all day. I'm tired. I'm going home. And he left and went home. And we think things could have been different.
We questioned the time in that video. We're not sure if it's accurate. So people might look at that and take it to, based off of the records that we have, there could definitely be some questions on the timing of that.
Right.
For sure.
We are all aware of Jack Showalter getting arrested 3 months ago. He got a misdemeanor for disturbing the peace, intoxication, disturbing the neighbors, the community. Pay attention to the person in the white jacket behind Jack D. Is the girl at the grub truck that the guy with the long hair is picking up. She's jumping and he's picking her up, and she has a bottle of water. So she was sitting right behind Jack D, Maddie, and Kaylee. She must have heard everything that was actually happening. Why did Jack D refuse to go with Kaylee, and why did Kaylee offer her ex to come along with her to another club? Is it because she was scared of Hoodie Guy? If you got someone thrown out of a frat and you know the person has concerning behavior, wouldn't you want someone to walk you to the grub truck and maybe home? Or was Jack D too busy because he was tired, like he said? Was he too busy because he knew what was going down that night? Why didn't he go to the grub truck? Or was his alibi to go home and sleep or hide in the closets, allegedly? How do we know that all of these people are innocent? They are accusing BK. Why aren't they being accused? It's just Thanksgiving. Everyone was allowed to go home. The suspects could have gone home. This does not make sense. Adam. Maddie's standing with Jack D and Kaylee. Adam is sitting here with Showalter. They all seem to look very serious. Wonder what Maddie told Adam. She must have told him Kaylee is fed up of the stalker. It is Hoodie Guy, allegedly. She's studying from home and he's still stalking her. He threatened her, maybe. Maybe that's what she said. He said he's going to get us because Ethan got him thrown out of the fraternity and I got him thrown out of the corner club. Those are two serious motives, targets. Was this crime a passion? Hate, revenge, retaliation? Or was Kaylee going to tell on Hoodie Guy to the police that he was involved in Hannah Clay is unaliving, allegedly, or Hudson Lindo? Was this about rugs? Something was being good to be told to Maddie. And it had to be about Hoodie Guy because he said, we're going to get you for that, Maddie. I wonder if Hoodie Guy could have been the DoorDash driver. What if he ordered food on Xander's name? What if he went before Katie and Maddie home and hid in the closet? He knows Bethany. She's sitting on his lap at the high school campaign event They could have been dating, allegedly. He knows Dylan. They went to the same high school. Was Queen Kelly there? And who ordered the DoorDash on Xana's name? Was this food from before, or was it new? There were so many things that should have been taken as evidence that was just sitting there and collecting dust. Doesn't make sense. This whole house should have been sealed down. It should have been a gag order itself. Look at the evidence lying around. Let's zoom into Xana's name. Strange because you can't see much there. Sorry guys, can anyone see anything? So this is Jack in the Box. Wonder if it sets a date. You can see the number 3, 3F I believe. So guys, I wanted to read you all some articles from Reddit in the very beginning of this case. Moscow police said they're investigating the deaths as homicides but do not provide any other information about what happened. As of midday Monday, no suspect was in custody. Anyone with information about this case has been asked to contact the police. Okay, this is somebody called Joe Malama. Went to school here for undergrad, loved directly adjacent to the house this happened in. Area it occurred was a popular party out-of-house spot where Greek Pop lived. Some mutual friends have a brother they still who said the victims were stabbed. They still haven't reached. Some mutual friends have a brother who said the victims were stabbed. This part hasn't reached the news yet. It's ghastly. Motive is still unclear. This town and community have had a disproportionate number of tragedies and violent crimes occur in the last decade. Did you all hear that, guys? So for the last decade, there's been violent crimes happening around King Road and Queens Road. Is it the rug spot? Is it the party spot? Is it both? Is that where people come to link up for everything and then have disagreements, fights, and disputed into a quadruple, whether it was pre-planned or not? Now, I found this to be very important because it was going on in the mainstream news channels. In the college, we heard the prosecutor, William Thompson, mention that it was the resident that was the target. Chief Wright said it was the students, the 4 victims that were the target. Then we had the mayor who said it was a crime of passion. Burglary gone wrong among possible motives, the mayor says. The mayor was actually talking too much. He was doing too much, unless he may be doing the right thing. So the mayor said it was a crime of passion or burglary gone wrong. They kept on using burglary gone wrong. Was somebody trying to maybe rob money or rugs from this house? Were they storing anything in this house? This was the party house. And let's not forget the Uber driver who told the local Idaho Moscow news channel or Idaho news channel, he said that he drove many passengers there to go and buy rugs. So what was going on there? So was this a crime of passion? Maybe Showalter wanted Kaylee and she reported him. Or maybe Showalter wanted Xana and Ethan reported him and got him kicked out of the frats. That could be a crime of passion. Motive could be hate, revenge, and everything we can think of. Crime of passion could be involved with Hoodie Guy again. He either liked Kaylee or Maddie, and he clearly said, we're going to get you for this. Burglary gone wrong. Yes, they came to get rugs maybe of these girls. How did Kaylee get the car? I know the bank financed her, but did they finance everything? I'm just asking questions. Where was Kaylee for 1 month? Could she maybe have spent the money she was not supposed to spend? The rug money on the car? Or something like that? Just asking. I'm not putting these students down, but we all are adults, we are parents, we have college students, we've had college students, and we all know that youngins can get caught up in things they're not supposed to get caught up in. Where were they getting all the money to live their fancy life? So is this about burglary gone wrong? And pay attention to one other important thing. None of the 4 victims were sexually assaulted, which was really good. May they rest in peace. And makes me think more into the fact that this was somebody who had more hate, revenge for them. This wasn't somebody, a psychopath, who was in love with one of the girls and was sitting out like a peeping Tom and watching them dressing. I doubt that. This was the frats, these are the Jacks, Davids allegedly, maybe Hannah, Clay, his brothers, allegedly, revenge killing, rugs. It could have been 3-4 motives put in one, like Sloan Bella said. Most of the people know Sloan Bella. I'm not a psychic fan, but most of the things, her readings that she's spoken about, for some strange reason, are always on point, like P. Diddy, Whitney Houston. Many things she predicted or she said in her readings have been accurate. And the strange thing is, everything Sloan Bella says in Idaho Moscow case, her reading was made 1.5 years after the quadruples. But these were always the theories I always believed, strangely enough. And this is what exactly Sloan Bella said. I always believed from the beginning that whatever happened that night was, may they rest in peace, due to whatever Maddie told Adam.
These ideas were projected onto him, and he was placed in that area very specifically to cause distraction. There are a multitude of things going on, and I don't even think that his brain understands what's going on. I'm not saying he's not guilty. What I'm saying to you is there is a succession of events, and there is multiple reasons for those people being murdered. Not just one, and not just one person, and not just one group of people. This is a complete trifecta, a perfect trifecta of 3 different organizations. My mind was going everywhere, okay? Speaking to me, I had trouble sleeping. My mind was going absolutely over here, over there, trying to feel the energy. I heard Kaylee say very strongly, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And I was trying to ask her, what are you sorry for? Because I don't think she had anything to do with it. I think she spoke out of turn to somebody that she thought was a friend of hers. And this is a guy, not a girl. I feel like she was in the acquaintance of somebody who she did not know was connected to the group that she was speaking about. And I feel like that tripped her up. I don't feel like she knew, or she read it, or she could see it. So I feel like she came into the proximity of one of the three different people, different circumstances, different groups, if you want to put it like that. One of the three different groups that was focused on removing the people in that house from what they did. I also then whipped right over to Dylan, and there is a complete mask over her energy field. I cannot read her for the life of me, and she is not who she presents herself to be. I will tell you that. I feel like it's a complete inversion. It's completely inverted. It's not as she presents herself. Now, this could be self-preservation. I don't deny that. But I can't get a fix on the energy because she projects outwardly something that she isn't. Okay, I can tell you that much. That doesn't mean anything. A lot of people do that. So what I saw with her is that when the person walked in the house, okay, so when the person walked in the house, the person she describes in a mask, I feel like she saw them walking in the house. So when she says she saw them leaving, I believe she saw that as well. But I think she left out the part where she saw them walking in the house and opened the door, and they walked right by her. And I do feel like they saw her. So there's some kind of recognition there because they saw her. Whatever the recognition is, why ever they didn't kill her, there is a reason. There is acknowledgement there. I think she opened the door and went, oh shit, and shut the door. Okay, this is prior to what happened. She either caught the back end of them or caught it right on the way by. I don't feel like Bethany saw any of that, but I feel like Bethany knows exactly what was going on, but maybe during what was going on. Obviously, if you hear sounds like that, and I'm really hesitant to believe that they did not hear the sounds of people being murdered. I'm pretty sure you heard them. That house, I'm pretty sure you heard them. I can hear a creak in my house. I mean, there's no way you didn't hear them. You may have tuned it out, you may not have wanted to deal with it, but there's no way you can't hear that. That house was not that big, and it seemed like it was pretty actually run down or not really sturdy. It wasn't like a mansion with 75 rooms. So I got the distinct feeling that both the surviving roommates actually did hear what went on. I am also seeing Kaylee and Madison at some kind of establishment, bar, restaurant, whatever. I see them talking, they're eating something, so it could be like at a bar stool. It's a table, not a booth table. They're sitting there talking, and who they're talking to is a turncoat or a Benedict Arnold or a person who is setting them up, getting information about when they're going home, what they're going to be doing. I feel like the girls were talking to the enemy without knowing it was the enemy.
So Sloan said that the girls were talking to the enemy, and they didn't know that they were talking to the enemy. Allegedly, that would be Jack D. Strange. Mary, what did you tell Adam? Now let's do our maths. Adam is sitting there. Mary and Kaylee are talking to Jack D. We heard a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." Was it Mary and Kaylee? Because it was 2:52 a.m. We heard it from the police cam. And that was the last call they made to Jack D. What does Jack D, Jack Showalter, and Adam have to do with this, allegedly? The Sigma Chi fraternity, I know exactly what they have to do with it, in my opinion. They're the ones who messed up the whole timeline. Kaylee and Maddie's timeline is more on point than the couple. May they all rest in peace. So who said what to who? Adam. You ain't talking, I guess. Adam said that there was nothing that night. Everything was all right. We were just catching up, saying our hellos, according to Chrissy G, Kaylee's mother. The girls, Kaylee asked Jack D to come along with her to another club Why didn't she want to be in the corner club where she's most comfortable, a place that she knows well? Could it be because she must have got negative vibes, funny vibes? Maybe her instinct told her there's something not right, just leave. And Jack D said, no, I'm tired, I'm going to stay. He was tired. And he didn't pick up their calls. Is it because he knew what was going down? Maddie, what did you tell Adam? Whatever was told to Adam got them killed. We can clearly hear the frustration, disappointment in Kaylee's voice when she says, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? Maddie said, I told Adam like everything. Adam, who did you tell? Adam called someone and must have told Showalter to escort them. And the girls ran away from Showalter. So Showalter is not a good guy here. Why would Maddie tell hoodie guy F you, mister? Why are they beefing?
Surviving roommates actually did hear what went on. I am also Kaylee and Madison at some kind of establishment, bar, restaurant, whatever. I see them talking, they're eating something, so it could be like at a bar stool. It's a table, not a booth table. They're sitting there talking, and who they're talking to is a turncoat or a Benedict Arnold or a person who is setting them up, getting information about when they're going home, what they're going to be doing. I feel like the girls were talking to the enemy without knowing it was the enemy. Now, what do I mean by that? You're thinking, who wants to kill young girls, right? Besides sexual pervert, which is where this case is going when they focus on Brian Koberger. They focus on, he's like on the spectrum, he's OCD, and he is a Scorpio. They do stalk people. I mean, that's just factual. They do it for fun. Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, whatever. Scorpio sun, they can't help themselves. They rule that part of the chart. They also make great detectives, okay? So they will research. I feel like Brian was called in to the house or during the fact to follow up on the fact. That's actually what I think. I realize he was there, but I'm trying to feel what he's doing, and it feels like I'm cleaning up behind somebody. I'm cleaning up. Okay, so it looks a little bit, and I'm not apologizing for him. I don't even want to hear that in there. I'm telling you what I'm feeling, and I don't have to feel what is written in the newspaper. That's not how psychic works. That's not how mediumship works. That's not how energy reading works. And I'm getting really amped up with it. I hear Kaylee again saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hear Xana talking to her mother. I'm hearing that. There's something going on with her mother in the next 5 months where the mother either has to have surgery or some kind of medical issue. And Xana is saying, it's okay, I'm okay. Like, she's saying it, you don't have to do this. You don't, like, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, but that's what I'm hearing. So Xana is very focused on her mother, very focused on that. I'm feeling like everybody was killed slightly differently, as in there were different weapons used. I'm going to word it like that. So one may not actually be a knife. It may be something else. It may be a sharp edged thing. What was so interesting is when I was trying to feel the energy, was thinking of people that sharpen weapons, like other kinds of things like ski poles and stuff, and they sharpen it where it could look like a knife or stick somebody like a knife. So I was thinking of that. That tells me it's not just a knife. I feel there was fighting. I also feel the phone call was made. The people were sent out. The cleaner came into the house. The people were sent out. There's somebody scooping up paperwork or looking for information in the house. Now, I don't know how much paperwork anyone keeps in those like fraternity houses or sorority houses or on-campus houses, but I'm feeling like they were looking for something in particular. I also feel like a call was made at about 11 o'clock the night prior on the 12th, and everything was set into motion then. It was set into motion. It's going forward. Now, I feel like this is connected to something so much more than like, I'm pissed off at you, I'm a psychopath, I'm coming to kill 4 random people. That house was being watched. They were being stalked. Everybody in that house was being watched, okay? Everybody, not Madison, not just Kaylee, not, Bethany, not just Dylan, all of them. And there was one other girl in there. All of them, okay?
Zana.
All of them were being watched. They were being watched from the perspective of, we need to see who's saying what. So we listen. That sounds like some kind of organization or some kind of crime group and or government crime, something. They were being watched. I feel like the 2 girls, Kaylee and Madison, got in the way of an investigation for either a crime trafficking family. I go to Arizona, I go to New Mexico, and I go to California. That's a triangle. That's a triad, a trifecta. That's what they keep telling me in my head, a trifecta. So I go to there. What happens in those states? Trafficking, 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 trafficking. I can't stop saying that. Trafficking. That's what happens in those states. Somebody in that house was speaking and was involved with somebody connected to that organization. And then somebody else in that house was talking about what they knew about what this person said, kind of peripherally. So it's like when I say something and there's a whole group of people and I say something and these 2 people have a secret over here and I'm outing their secret. No one's told me. I just happen upon it. Observation. I happen to say something that makes one turn against the other. One turns against the other. One turns against the other. Okay? One turns. I don't necessarily think that's even really what happened. I think it was sort of a happenstance. And I also feel like it was 3 men involved. It's all threes, 3, 3, 3s, okay? All the way along. 3 men. Now, when you're talking about the roommates, and it sounds really very strange, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but one of the roommates presents herself how she isn't. So I present myself like this, but I'm not really like this. So the projection or the energy that I show is cloaked and hidden because I don't want you to know who I am and why I'm at your school. Okay? So that's what I will say. I don't want you to understand what I'm really doing there because it's not about education for me. That's not what it's about. So I get that very strongly. So there's a mole in the house. Now, the mole can be working for the good side or the bad side, the crime family or the cops, right? Like, I don't know which side, and sometimes the cops can be bad and the crime family can be good because it's all flipped and crazy. There is a succession, and then there's drugs, okay? So there's 3 things: weaponized human, trafficking, and drugs. But it's not drugs like pharmaceuticals, opioids, fentanyl, heroin. That's not what I'm talking about. Why do people take drugs besides for fun and besides for illness, right? They take drugs, steroid performance enhancing drugs. What if, while all of this shit's going on, we have people being brought into this school setting, this university, we have people being brought in there that are kind of harnessed and drugged in order to perform, in order for sports, in order for money. Because human trafficking is one thing, it goes in different directions. But what if the sports department, and I am getting that, so there is also a connection to that. And that came through the side of Ethan. So I don't know what he was involved in or not involved in, but somebody that he was around and talked to is connected to that element. Now, you can be friends and have a whole bunch of people that you know and hang around and not think that they're involved in anything. Or you could suspect it, but you're still hanging out with them because you're friends. You know, when you're 20, you're 21, you're not thinking that, right? You're not thinking that this person is going to fuck up my life because they're going to tell me something and I'm randomly going to repeat it, which is what happened with Kaylee. That is why she's saying, I'm so sorry. About 11 o'clock the night before they were killed, she is talking in this restaurant and bar place setting, and she is speaking about something, and they are like, absolutely the fuck not, you have to shut up. Okay, so they're not telling her that, but in their head, she is talking to somebody and she's getting bits and pieces of it, not the whole thing, bits and pieces, okay, bits and pieces, little bits and pieces, and she's talking to somebody that she assumes is a friend, not an enemy, not a frenemy, but a friend, male. This male person is texting madly. There is a setup starting at 11 p.m. the night prior, okay? The house is already being watched. It's being watched by a multitude of different people. Also, bullshit on the neighborhood not knowing what's going on. Just bullshit on that. Because the people around the house absolutely, I hear this very clearly, absolutely understood back off and shut up. Back off and shut up. There is no excuse whatsoever. I'm going to come out and say it, okay? I'm going to come out and say it. There is no excuse whatsoever to not call 911 for 8 hours. I don't care who you are and what kind of mental freezingness you have, okay? I don't care. I don't care how you want to. Literally, the camera just cut off because I said I don't care how you want to justify that, as if people are trying to justify it. I understand trauma from the point of seeing dead bodies. I've seen several. I get it. I understand hearing even guns go off. Like, I've heard guns go off, and I get it. I get that you can freeze, but 8 hours of conscientious direction in a different way is an entirely different thing. What happened in that 8 hours? And by the way, when I'm, okay, one of the girls, and don't ask me which one because I get confused. It was one of the blonde girls though. One of the girls is holding on literally to the bed, okay? Like holding on to the bed and being pulled away. I don't feel that they recognized fully who was there. There was more than one person in the house. And that may be the confusion of Dylan, seeing one go in and one go out and catching the eyebrows coming towards her. Note, I was directed at the statement that she made, if it is correct. So hard to tell online, but if it is correct, she said the person was athletic but not muscular. Let's reword that. One of the people that came in to kill those four was muscular and also had bushy eyebrows. The point was, he was muscular. That's why she said he wasn't. And it was two different people. So did she see the back of one and the front of another? Yes. And they all came from different directions, okay? For different reasons. Now, Brian is a weaponized human. He is put in there, controlled human, mind-controlled human, to do what they want him to do. And he came in to assess what went on. I keep getting that. Like, to take note of it, to observe it, to keep it where it couldn't be found, to make it in a particular way, to make sure the other ones didn't get caught. And there's a payoff for, if you take the fall for this, we will go here. There's also mind control with it. I wouldn't take the fall for that, okay? And I'm not saying he wasn't involved in it, but it's not quite to the degree that he was a psychopath in there murdering everybody. There are other people, period. It has to do with trafficking. It has to do with sports. It has to do with steroids, drugs, injectables, whatever you want to call them. All of those things are involved. Each and every person in that house was talking to other people that they assumed were friends. There was many a voyeur in that house because it is a town full of young kids in a house, girls. So the neighbors were watching, always watching. There is video footage of what happened. So this brings another element. I feel like That home was bugged. Okay, bugged. By bugged, I mean like in the, 1960s reference, Maxwell Smart, Get Smart. They placed objects in the house that could absorb, record, watch, rewind, watch, rewind, watch, rewind. There's a full accounting on the internet of the murders. I don't know if it's on the internet you and I would see, but somewhere online this is being sent around because there is also a ritualistic aspect to it. The Greek system, the numerology, the sigil magic that Dylan put the tattoo on her arm. I'm not disputing getting a tattoo after someone dies. As you know, I did the same thing. It's what the tattoo is. That is a sigil. Okay, so I feel like there's a specific reason for that. It's a numerology. All of the kids' names are connected energetically. That's why they were brought there. There's a connection. This is a spiritual focus. This is a ritualistic performance on top of, okay? So that's another layer. It is not just nut job Brian came into town and decided, I'm going to kill 4 people I don't know because I'm socially awkward on the spectrum and I'm a freak. I'm not saying he's none of those things. I'm just saying that's not what happened. And I feel like his brain has been controlled. I do feel, it's really strange, but I feel like the people in the house knew him or knew of him. So I feel like he was familiar to people in the house. I also feel that you have no idea, nor do I, what was really going on behind the scenes, the spiritual element. When we go to sororities and frat houses, what are we really doing? I didn't go to those, but if you do belong to those type of things, what kind of an energetic system are you following? It's like skull and crossbones. So think about that for a second. Fraternal order, go back to even cartoons with the Flintstones, the fraternal order, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're following. So there is a spiritual component to what goes on as well. And there are people that will be given up for the greater good financially of the organization. And that's what I feel the motive is. That's what I feel the motive is, okay? I feel like Ethan on the other side is fucking confused. Like he's like, shit. When he saw, this is what I feel like he didn't even suspect who it was. So somebody turned on him, and I'm almost going into somebody that was very, very close to him, as in close, not friend, maybe related on some level. There's somebody, he's like opened my eyes, like, wow. Okay, so and there's connections all the way through that. I also feel that the confusion lies with why the roommates didn't call 911, why they called everybody but 911 or whoever called. I'm not sure who called, but I don't know why you're not calling. What has happened? Were you in an altered state at the time? Were you even in your body? Was there something else going on ritualistically behind the scenes? I will go down that line because I can see it. That's why I'm all over the place. This case is all over the place. Now,
okay, so this is for fair use purpose. Let me break this down. Let's start with Sloan Bello has a reputation of getting her stories correct, accurate, on point, especially with the P. Diddy one recently, that his house was going to be raided. P. Diddy is ex, may she rest in peace, Kim Porter, came to her in a reading and she told her everything about how this case is going to go viral. When Sloan spoke about the P. Diddy case, it was a year before he even got arrested, or before we even found about Cassie's case. So what I'm trying to say is this woman is quite accurate. Only God knows what really happened in Idaho, Moscow. But I like to watch a bit of different things just to see like what could have actually happened, because everyone has their instincts and their ways of following facts, research, speculations, whatever it may be. I find it interesting that she said it was 3 organizations, because we have 3 unidentified male DNAs. What I saw in the grub truck looked like at least there was 2 parties there, and maybe the third party was with Ethan and Xana. I believe Hannah Clay's people were there, her brother, half brother. So that was revenge. Jack Showalter was with them, standing near them, nodding his head towards them. They were indirectly communicating. The white Hyundai Elantra, so that could be one organization for me at least. The RUG organization will always be there, but I agree with Sloan Bell 110%. I always thought about it as the steroids, as like sports drugs, not as social drugs. They could be selling weed and all as social drugs, but I really believe it's steroids. The other one was that Kaylee came into a secret of trafficking and she told someone